Hey guys, Libby here with a review of The Seas by Samantha Hunt. I read this for the Underhyped Readathon back in January, and it has inspired me to make a new policy. That is, anytime I read a book that I rate 5 stars, that has under 2,000 ratings on Goodreads, I am definitely going to film a review because I feel like I owe it to the book to be more famous, and I owe it to my viewers to let you know there is this book that you've probably never heard of that is really excellent. This is not the sort of book that I would just have picked up. It's contemporary, and I checked this is actually the only contemporary novel that I own. And I only ran into it because Samantha Hunt has written another novel about Nikola Tesla, who is like one of the coolest dudes ever. So I was going to get that book, and I wanted to see what else she had written, and this one looked intriguing as well, so I actually ended up getting it first and reading it first. It's also got a really gorgeous cover. Most of this bath is a photograph, but then the tail is like drawn in with ink like it's not really there. So this is about a girl living very far north in Maine near the coast, and when she was 12, her father committed suicide by walking into the ocean. And she deals with this by telling herself that she and her father are mermaids, and she knows that one day she will return to the sea to join him. And this is somewhat disturbing for her because she has read a bunch of stories in which mermaids fall in love with a mortal man and he does not return her love, so she has to kill him in order to return to being a mermaid. And she has a crush on this guy. He does not like her back, and she's like, oh man, I really don't want to have to kill him. And this is one of those books that we need more of because it's about everyday insanity. You know how all of us are just a little bit nuts in our own peculiar way? We're not like crazy. We're just a little crazy. This book is about that. And our heroine may actually be full-on crazy, but the people around her, like her mother, who's, dealing with her husband killing himself, and her grandfather, who used to be a typesetter and fills their gigantic house with old letters from typesets and is like making his own dictionary, but he has to do it backwards. So there's some sections of the book that are just written backwards. So it feels like a very personal story. And there isn't that strong of a plot. It's mainly an explanation of our heroine. I keep saying our heroine because she doesn't have a name, because this book is awesome. It's an explanation of her worldview and her attempts to have a relationship with Jude. And the whole time we're not really sure what's real and what's not. If you've seen the movie Pan's Labyrinth, it does sort of the same thing. We're not sure if this is actually happening and it's a fantasy novel, or if she's full-on crazy and just thinks this is happening, or if it's more magical realism and she's explaining things in an unusual, more fantastical way, but there are actual events underlying them. So I highly recommend this book if you are in the mood for something more serious. It takes an intense look at pain and loss of all sorts. And even though the main character is a teenager, I wouldn't call it YA. There aren't, full-on sex scenes or extreme violence, but it is dealing with the not fun adult issues. And plus, it's really short. It's under 200 pages. So you have no excuses. Go read The Seas, and then we can talk about it, and it will be awesome.